Hello everyone, welcome back to Plant Happens. Today I'm back at this location because obviously last location sucked. The lighting was terrible, so I think this part of my house is still better as far as lighting goes. So for now, I'm gonna stick to here until I can get better lights or something. As usual, Fred will be kind of making noise in the background, maybe come in and out. I hope you don't mind that. Another thing I wanted to touch on is last video, some parts of it was shaky, and that's because I stopped using my phone and I'm trying to use my camera. It's kind of old. I bought the camera I think like 4 or 5 years ago, so it's not the best when it comes to the functionality, but I think the image quality is supposed to be better than the phone. So I'm trying to use the camera, but the image stabilizer is a little bit weird with that one. So I turned off the auto image stabilizer this time. Hopefully it won't be shaky. So today I'm gonna be talking about philodendrons in my collection. These are the philodendrons that I've been growing for some of them are not too long, but most of them for at least 6 months, and they've been growing really well in my condition. Now, to touch on my growing condition for philodendrons, I do grow all of these in my grow tent, and I do understand not everybody can have a grow tent in their house, so I try to choose ones that I think will do fine in like ambient conditions. As I go through the list, I will definitely mention if I think it's necessary to have it in the tent or I think it's okay to grow it outside the tent. Inside my tent, I have grow light on for around 12 hours, but none of my plants are really close to the light, so I just have one big ceiling light at the top, and I have plants with higher light requirement at the top shelf, and I have lower shelves for medium light plants, and most of my philodendrons growing at the top shelf. But some of the bigger ones I do have at the floor of the grow tent because they just won't fit on the shelf. The humidity stays around, it fluctuates from time to time, but it stays around 80%. I find that in the summer, they're higher, usually like 85 to 90%, and in the winter it could be somewhere between 75 to 80%. But I found I don't need to put any humidifier in my tent because of all the plants in there actually just raises the humidity quite high. I do have a fan running inside because I find the fan shaking the leaves helps them emerge from their sheath. So so that's the condition they're growing in. I've been growing philodendrons for over 2 years, I think 3 years now, and I think I first fell in love with the variegated philodendrons because I for some time really liked variegated plants like alba monsteras, Florida Beauty. Those were my favorite type of plants. So I was quite quite intimidated by anthuriums for a long time. So as far as arroys go, I grew mostly philodendrons and some monsteras, but I find myself having a hard time growing monsteras. So philodendrons are definitely easier genus of plant for me to grow. And I really do love how much variety there is when it comes to philodendron. There's so many different kinds of leaf shapes, but although I do prefer heart-shaped leaves or some of them with interesting leaf shapes. I went through many different phases when it comes to philodendrons. I definitely have phase that I only wanted velvety leaves. I also had a phase I only wanted like long pendant leaves. I was really obsessed with Patriciae for a really long time, and I really wanted to grow a really long leaves that you see on Instagram, but I have come to terms that I probably will never grow that kind of leaf in my home condition. I think that's only achievable in the nature, in the wild, in their like natural habitat. But I'm sure some people are able to grow them really well, really big, but I think in Canada it's very difficult because how dry we are and we're not just warm enough year round to develop that kind of leaves. Or it could just be my incompetence, you know, who knows. Yeah, so I think that's enough talking before getting into the plants. And again, this is not in any specific order. I'm just showing them to you in random orders, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, so first plant I want to talk about is this Philodendron Majestic. This is a hybrid philodendron. If I can remember correctly, this is a hybrid of variegated and staudiroy. You can see the staudiroy characteristics on their leaf blades. You know, the first time I saw this plant, I was really mesmerized by the pattern on the leaf. I'm really hoping this is picking up. I think it looks almost like camouflage in a way, and it just grows really, really easy for me. As you can see, this is a little leggy because this is actually at the very back of the tent, so it's not getting a lot of light, but it has no problem growing like decent sized leaf. And this is a little bit small because I actually chopped it here. So this is the brand new leaf, and I've chopped this plant so many times, but it never has problem bouncing back, and it just keeps growing. I think I have 2 pots of this right now and some propagation. But yeah, so I think this was popular in 2020 and early 2021, and I don't know why that it's not popular anymore. I think it's still one of the prettiest philodendron, which is super easy to grow, and I think everybody should have it. I hope the camera can pick up, but you can see that. Oh no, okay. I hope you can see some red in abaxial. Can you see? I should hide my face, I guess. The light might have really washed out the color on the on the screen, but there are some red in the abaxial of the leaf that is from the variegated. And again, the pattern on the leaf blade with the silver running through, but it's not quite the same way it's on staudiroy. So I feel like it's really unique, the pattern. I mean, it's just so gangly, but sorry. I hope you can really see. I don't know how I can. Okay, here. Is that better? I think the leaf shape is super cute, heart shape, and yeah, it really isn't anything to dislike. Even when it's small, I think it stopped doing the petiolar sheath thing really early. Like it starts to put out the, what's that called, cataphyll really quickly, even when the leaves were smaller. Like I think when the leaves were this size, it was already producing cataphyll. So In that way, I think leaves emerge much easier when they're coming out of caterpillar rather than the petiolar sheath. So I really like that. I don't know what I'm saying. I really like that about this plant. For like sometimes I feel like I like Solderoy better, and sometimes I just really love this plant. And I think at this moment I am just in love with this plant, and it's growing in pond with no drainage, and I don't even have moss pole. It will definitely grow bigger leaves if you give it moss pole. I just have a bamboo stake to support it, and as you can see, it has no problem growing. So that's Philodendron Majestic. Next plant I want to talk about is Philodendron White Princess. I really love all the very stark white variegation on Philodendron, like the White Knight, White Wizard, and White Princess. And I think within that type of Philodendron, White Princess is the most stable with how should I say, like the best variegation. So this is my only White Princess now. Okay, I'm trying to, yeah, there you go. It's not very big because it had a root rot, so I had to chop the top off and reroot it. And I've had this since beginning of 2020, and that was before the price was crazy, and I think I paid about $20. And then I've propagated a ton, but I will always have at least one of this plant in my collection. I've grown all the different similar type of Philodendron. As I mentioned, I love Philodendron White Knight, White Wizard, but as I said, this is the easiest to grow, so that's why I'm showing it here. I find the other two tend to revert easier. In my experience, even with good genes, sometimes it just reverts for no reason, but that's never happened with White Princess for me. And also another cool thing for White Princess is there are, I don't think the camera will be able to pick up, but there are pink on their petiole, and sometimes it will come out on the leaf, and this leaf have a tiny bit of pink over there. I'm not sure if it will show up, but I hope you'll be able to see a little bit of pink on this leaf. So I had experience that the variegation came on full on pink, and it's really pretty, especially if you like pink plants. This one would be really good for you. And so that's White Princess. Next Philodendron I want to talk about is this Florida Ghost. I think Florida Ghost by now is something that everybody knows, and a lot of people have it in their collection. And it's not rare, but I think it's still underappreciated. I really like the leaf shape of all these Florida plants, like Florida Beauty, Florida Ghost, Florida Green, and I just really like the shape. It's just cute, right? And I bought this particular one from Lauren from North Shore Tropicals. I've had many different specimens throughout the years, but I think this one is the best one I've had so far. Previously, I've had issue that they grow really nice minty leaves, even whiter than this, but it will never turn green, and eventually they just fall off. And I just thought that was very weird, because the whole thing about Florida Ghost is they emerge really pale like this, and then they'll produce they'll turn minty, and then eventually turn green. But you know, sometimes some of the leaves stay pretty minty, like this very bottom leaf is still minty. So I don't know how that works, but the one I had before this would just stay like this, and then it would just stay like this for months and months, and then as the new leaf grow, the bottom leaves would fall. So I was hoping something like, I was hoping for this one to be more healthy, because you know, the more green in the plant, the healthier it is. So I'm really happy with this one. Unfortunately, it's still in moss. I really should do something about it, but you know, with so many plants, our time is limited. This one is one of the plants that is not living in grow tent. Sorry, I forgot to mention both the Majestic and White Princess are living in my grow tent, but this one just lives on my shelf and it's just doing fantastic. I really should give it moss ball so it grows bigger leaf, but right now it's really bushy and pretty, so I'm not super worried about it. One thing, you know, a lot of you would already know is this type of philodendron, or any type of philodendron to be honest, if they live in ambient condition, they can produce a lot of EFN, extra floral nectaries, and that's a sticky liquid that it produces along the petiole. It's supposed to attract ants to come and eat the nectaries, and also is it supposed to be pest control? I'm not sure what's the point of attracting ants. I don't quite remember, but yeah, the purpose of them is to attract ants. But I don't have problem with EFN for this one because it doesn't really produce EFN behind the leaf, like on the abaxial, just the petiole. So as long as I don't touch it, it's like when you touch it, it's very sticky, so it's annoying, but at least it's not on the leaf blade, so it's not burning through the leaf blade. I think you might be able to see some of the, I don't know, maybe you can, if I have a background, maybe you can see. Here, or so hard to, I don't know. I don't think you can see, but there's a lot along the petiole. And yeah, so as I was saying, this is not producing EFN on the leaf blade, so I'm completely fine with that. I don't know what else to say. It's just really nice, hardy philodendron that's super pretty, and I feel like even if you're not into plants, you can appreciate how pretty this pretty this is. So yeah, I think this will make good gift too. I feel like if your friends kind of want to decorate their house with plants, this could be one of the contender, because I really do think it's super easy to take care. So lovely. So anyways, that's my Philodendron Florida Ghost. Okay, next up is this Philodendron rubrocinctum platinum. I'm not very good at saying plant names, obviously, so I will definitely put the name down there. So this, I don't take credit for growing this huge because I bought it as a very mature plant from Ecogenera. But all the original leaf has fallen except for this one. And all these are new leaf that's grown in my care. So I think it's generally pretty hardy as long as you get it to this maturity. It seems pretty stable and it doesn't decrease leaf size very easily. And if I sit like this, it looks like it's humongous, but if I move to the front a little bit, I can do like a head test, I guess. Yeah, so this is about the size of the leaf, and the way the venations are sunken in is really pretty. And as the name suggests, it has this silvery sheen to the leaf, and I think that's what makes this plant special. The way light hits the sunken venation and the sheen is just so pretty. Isn't that amazing? I'm just looking in the mirror to see that it's in the frame, but the leaf shape is perfect, the venation is perfect, and it doesn't seem to have problem like unfurling at all, even though I do grow this in grow tent, so I guess it's like ideal condition for it. But even then, I find some plants still have difficulties, but not this one. This one just grows like dream, and I definitely recommend this. And this is still growing moss. Like, I'm gonna just grab it like this, but I just didn't have any, like I didn't have enough pond or anything to grow it, so I just put it in moss, and it's just happily growing in moss, keep putting out new leaves, and I don't even have big enough outer pods, so it's like this whole situation. But like you can see, it's happy as it can be, and just I have nothing to complain. You really should get one if you can get hold of it. It's not super expensive, especially you are getting like a cutting. Yeah, so I love this way more than I anticipated, and I plan to keep this forever. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention is now it's actually like 4:30 p.m. and it's really dark outside. It's pretty much like the sun has set, so I'm using the light, so maybe the lighting looks a little harsh, but please bear with me. So the next plant is Philodendron domesticum variegated. This is one of the plant I also feel like is very underrated. I think it does get mentioned by other plant YouTubers, but I don't see too many people posting about it on social media. I don't know why, because it's really pretty. I think maybe it reminds you of Monstera standaleriana a little bit, but it's growing like the philodendron growing pattern. It's a climber, and I'm having hard time sizing this up a little bit, but I don't mind because I have too many plants, so having a small plant is not a bad thing always. But this specific one, I think the variegation is so pretty. Why is it so bright? Can it be darker? But anyways, so you can see it's a super pretty plant. I think I'm too close to the light, but I hope you can see how pretty it is. So the variegation on this plant, it comes out quite yellow, and then it just like fades to the cream variegation kind. This plant, maybe because it's similar to Jose Bono, so maybe more people like Jose Bono, because I think that one is a lot easier to grow, easier to find, and easier to size up. And I do love mine too, but I just think the way their variegation look are different. I think the variegation on Jose Bono looks more speckly and in a way similar to like a whippleway, so where their variegated has like a little bit of mintiness and a little bit of speckling, but this one is much more like the Monstera aurea Monstera type of variegation. So I personally like this type of variegation more than the speckly ones, so that is why this has made the list. And even though I'm having problem sizing it up, I don't have problem growing it. Like, it's happy, and when I've chopped it once and I just chopped another time, and every time I chop it doesn't seem to mind. So yeah, I think if you can find one with good variegation, I think this is a really good plant to grow in your collection too. Definitely find one with good genes, because I find with Philodendron or Monstera, if you find If you buy a low variegation one, the chances of getting high variegated leaves, more variegation in the leaves are very low. Like Pink Princess, you know, it's possible to get high variegation as it mature, but still it's not every leaf. Like maybe it will grow 3 pretty much no variegated leaf and then 1 high variegated leaf. But I think if you start with good gene, then you have high chance of having more nicely variegated leaves. So yeah, again, this is Philodendron domesticum variegated. Next, I have 2 variety of same species, I think. So I'm gonna put the smaller one down for now. This one, I had it on the side of my, like when I did the palm video, I had this on the side. And this is the Philodendron SB Silver. That is at least what it was sold as. I also bought this from Lauren from North Shore Tropicals when it was still not that easy to get. It was constantly sold out from Equa General website or Tropicals. And I wasn't having any luck ordering from them, so I just decided to buy one from Lauren, and it was easier so I don't have to acclimate. And in the beginning, it kind of struggled to grow new leaves, but once it started growing, it has been non-stop. And I honestly think this is probably one of the most beautiful philodendron out there. The way the venations are so sunken in, and the way the leaf blade has super silvery sheen, it is just nothing. There's nothing else like this, and it's so pillowy looking, right? Especially the new leaf. I mean, does it get any better than this? I mean, the lighting just really is bleaching out the color, but yeah. So I think this is my favorite philodendron at the moment. Another thing I want to talk about is this plant. Many people are confused because is it a climber? Is it a crawler? It seems to climb when it's juvenile, and a lot of people find it grows up, and then once it reaches certain maturity, especially when it starts to produce caterpillar, it tends to kind of start crawling. And I have found that true too, as this was growing up and then it started growing sideways, but I decided to give it a pull to see if I can make it climb, and so far it's been climbing just fine. I think crawler just takes up so much more space, so I just wanted to grow vertical, and I'm really happy that it's been working. Please don't judge me for this pole situation. I just didn't have time to make a proper pole, so I did this and it seems to work just fine. So yeah, so this one was sold as Philodendron SB Silver. And I wanted to show this one as well because there is very similar plant called Philodendron SB Columbia, which is pretty much the same without the silveriness on the leaf blade. But this one was sold from Tropicals as Philodendron SB Columbia Platinum. So naturally, when I saw that on the price list, I was like, what's the difference? So I ordered one to see, and honestly, I don't know, isn't it the same thing? I feel like the SB Silver is more silvery though. And in my opinion, not that it matters, I think SB Silver and SB Columbia are like just same species of plant with just slight variety, but don't quote me on that because obviously I'm not like a botanist or anything, so I just don't observe any like big difference between them except for just the leaf blade looking a little different in color. And their petiole both emerges pinkish, and then it just fades to green petiole eventually. This one seems to be more pink than this one. Maybe it just looks just as pink in the camera, but yeah. So either one, I think if you like silvery leaf, just get the SP Silver. If you just like the green leaf, get the SP Columbia. And I've owned both and I've loved both, and it's just, you know, it's the best thing. This one I think will do fine outside the tent. I haven't had any problem, but I just don't want it to produce too much EFN. So I do grow this in my grow tent, and it's been doing wonderful in grow tent. And the big one here is growing in pond, and this smaller one is still in moss. But they're both doing really good, and I think they'll be happy this way for a while too. Last but not least, this is my Philodendron gloriosum. This is the newest leaf. Little bit sad that it's getting smaller, but it's because it's still in moss. My friends mock me for this daily, but I just don't have the time and energy to report this. It's so intimidating to unmoss this, you know, like, but I think it's time because, you know, because the new leaf is much smaller, but it's still super cute. It's so perfect, and it's just pushing on the edge, so I think I finally have to do it. But this one was also imported as a large plant, so it had 3 leaves, but only 1 original leaf remains. This is one of it. So as you can see, it's bigger than my head, but it does have some damage from shipping, but that's how big it was. Even though these 2 leaves are not the biggest leaves I have, they are still really cute and perfect. I just love all these leaves. It's just, I don't know what more to say other than it's just perfect. Like, this one is not as big, it's smaller, but it has this cute little speckle on it. And this one has a lot more prominent venation. It's very bright. So yeah, the name says it all. It's gloriosum, right? Like, I had another huge one like this, which I already sold. I'm kind of sad, but having 2 plants that are this size was just not viable. So I hope it's happily living in the new owner's house. But again, this is Philodendron gloriosum. Just get it. And it's not expensive now. I think like small cuttings, at least in Vancouver, are like $30, and it used to be much more expensive, which makes me a little bit sad and happy at the same time. But yeah, so it's pretty affordable now. So I think if you have a chance to get one, definitely get one. Oh, sorry, gloriosum has like many different form. I do think this is a dark form. I'm not sure if it will be a round form, because some of these leaves look pretty round, so it's possibly round form, but I would just call it dark form for now. And there are ones that's called zebra or radiant or radiante or something, and a lot of it is just growing condition, I think, because I've imported the pink back form, and without really like a lot of light, the back turns less pink, which is just same as other gloriosum. So I think just look at the leaf when you buy it. Look at the leaf that it has, or look at the mother plant and just choose one that you like the look the most, and don't just forget about the name of it, like dark form, round form, I don't know, zebra form. Just look at the mother plant, and if you like the mother plant, get that one. If you don't like the mother plant, keep looking for the one you like. My personal favorite is the dark form because of the dark leaves, so I'm just really happy with this. Okay, so those were the best philodendrons from my collection. I think it's a little bit different from my favorite philodendrons because my favorite changes from time to time, but these were chosen based on like how I feel about the affordability, how easy they are to grow, how easy they are to size up, and what else, how accessible they are, and how kind of like the ones that you don't have to worry too much about. So I hope you found something new from this list, and I hope I was able to show you the beauty of these plants. And if you have any more questions, please leave your comments down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you liked this video, please hit the like button, and if you want to see more videos from me, please subscribe and hit the notification button. Is it the bell button? Yeah, but you don't have to. I know notifications could be annoying, so only if you want to. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye now.